Hey, what's up, everybody? My name's Mike Toledo, and we got John Hiley on the other side here. And say what's up, John.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How you guys doing today?
All right, so listen, we have a few topics to talk about, and we will save the best for last. First of all, we want to talk about the giveaway that for the Ghost Board. I put a topic up there, or a thing saying, what's your best answer for a customer who basically wants to, who comes up and says your price is too high. And you guys gave so many answers that we really had a hard time trying to pick who was good. I mean, there were some good answers that didn't even get any replies or anything like that. So next time we're going to try to narrow it down. Then we got guys who put out some reply, gave good answers, but got tons of replies from other people. But it wasn't Dent guys who gave the reply. It was other people that weren't even related to it. So we're kind of caught in the middle of it. It was good reply, but not like over the top. What was your thought on that, John?
Yeah, some of the ones I think that were the most and the most important, and the ones that I really, really liked didn't get as many likes as some of the ones that I thought were definitely good. But there was some good points. I think Terry Siegel mentioned something that was great. There was another fellow there. He just won the light recently, Joey Carter.
Oh yeah, John.
Yeah, he had a really good one. Vince had a very good one as well. But the contest is based on likes, and we did have a lot of likes, it looked like, from folks, family, and stuff like that. So I do think next time might specify a little bit more that we want it to be kind of like an internal competition, and just so when we talk about the answer, it comes out great. So
yeah, and then there was James Lee from Dents. He gave a pretty lengthy good one. Of course, I'm not gonna give him another one. He's already got one. He's already got a fog, a ghost board, and he's probably laughing at this now. But so we are going to pick between we're going to play by the rules. So
right.
It was between Ernie Arsenal and Jeff Link. So
correct.
I'm just going to pull that up, and I'm just going to take a look at that. Let's see here. So Jeff, oh gosh, dang, where is he at? We had like 80 replies or 75 replies.
A lot of replies on that one. That was great.
So we got Jeff Link had 33 and Ernie had 33. Well, at least from his first reply. And then his last one, he had another. Actually, let me just go. It's a tie. It's a tie between Jeff Link and Ernie. So guess what? They both get a board. Okay, there it is. Done deal. You guys, Jeff Link and Ernie Arsenal from Canada. Jeff Link is from Long Island, and they both get a board. And so contact me, PM me, and let me know which one you want. Do you want the lines or do you want the fog? It don't matter. So now we got that out of the way. Let's talk about some other things here. What was our other topics here?
Well, I think one of the things that we were going to elaborate on real quick to go back to the closing with clients and customers, I just want to touch base real quick on James Lee's comment, because it's a lot like what I do. And, Mike, he's a kind of guy who he's putting something out there where he stands behind his product, and he tells the client and the customer that he's going to give it a warranty and that he's going to guarantee his work. Them are two of the points that I drive home nearly on every client that walks through my doors. One of the reasons why, if you got somebody in your market, everybody talks about how, this guy down the street hacks and he charges less money. Well, if you give a warranty that protects against corrosion and cracking, and that pretty much eliminates the guy down the road who's going to strategically park the car in the sun until the client comes and gets it. They drive away, and down the road they look at it at that right angle and they notice the dent again and the warranty's void. So that's kind of the one that I really liked out of all of them, because it kind of drives home what we do here. And that's, we stand by our work because we want to separate ourselves from the person who can't deliver a product in a way that they can actually stand behind it for the lifetime of the repair. So that's one that I really liked. And what I just told you there, I will explain to clients and customers, this is why we do this. This is why I warranty your vehicle. And I said, because when we're done, your finish is going to be smooth again. And it's not going to be sitting here parked in the sun. I'm going to teach you how to look at your car properly and make sure you got a proper repair. So, but closing that out, I'm sure you do the same type of thing out there in San Diego. I know you guys warranty your work and you stand behind it.
What we do, one thing when I try to close a deal is my main thing is I don't sell cost. I sell my quality and I sell my service. And when they tell me that maybe my cost is too high or can I lower it down, I could flip it back to them. My main thing is I put it on there and I said, I understand you're looking for the cheapest price, but I know in the end that quality is going to matter more to you. So I put the ball back on their court in a professional way and make them think, because either they're going to admit saying, nah, I don't want a good job. I just want a so-so job. They're not going to say that. 99% of the time, they're not going to say that. And that's how I can get my clients or my customers to actually say, you know what, I'm actually working with a professional here, so I'm going to pay the professional price. Now, I'm not working with a swap meet PDR guy where, name your own price and you go back and forth and you end up, selling it, dropping your pants. And we all know that half the time, not half the time, but, there's a good percentage of the time that what you see in the photo isn't always the right angle or what you see in the photo. It could be even more than that, So,
absolutely. Absolutely. And I learned a lot from you in that, Mike. I mean, that is one of the best responses and replies that I've heard is exactly what you say. Because there's times I'm guilty of just blowing that person off. I'm just saying, they tried to haggle me. I don't even want to deal with them, on to the next. And I think I could have landed more deals if I would have done some of the things that you're doing. So that brings a lot of value to the table. I really appreciate that.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing too, is that you don't want to get, of course you want to tell the customer, kick sand. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what, just, I don't have time for you. And you probably, a lot of us don't. We don't have time to sit there and go, hey, we could probably do without those customers. And a lot of those customers who are asking for the cheapest price are usually the pickiest. And you could get smart ass with them, and if they don't get it by the time you say that, there's a lot of guys out there that customers will still say, well, come on, can't you do $100? You want to charge me $350? Can you do it for $100? And then at that point, when you told them that, and then they still do that, now you can play with them a little bit because they really just don't get it, and you could say, a good friend of mine here, Mike in San Diego, he came up with a good reply. It's funny. It was fun. He's serious. He puts on a serious face and he goes, well, I can do less for less. And they go, what do you mean? He tells me his customers' reactions are like, what do you mean? He's like, well, you're asking me to do less, for less. You're not asking. I'm not going to do the same amount or for less. It's either you want to pay them out or you don't. And then Sal told me a funny story. Sal, I could believe Sal too. He's funny as heck. He'll tell him $350. He'll tell him a $350 dent, and then they'll come at him with $150 or $200, and then he'll just look at him and he'll say, well, okay, now, what part of that dent you want me to do for $200? Because that's what we'll do. But that's on a part where people just don't get it. I would never say that right up front. I would definitely hit them up with that ball, put the ball on their court, and let them think about it, and know that you're dealing with a serious thing. But one other thing too is that people could probably benefit off of. The first sentence I would probably say, and I think I already mentioned in this, but I'm not willing to sacrifice your quality for a lower cost. I understand you're looking for the cheapest price, but I'm sure in the end the quality is going to matter more to you. And that's it. I leave it at that. And if you'd like my service, I'm available. I appreciate your interest. Let me know if you'd like to schedule. Thank you. That's it.
Right. And something about you just hit on right there about doing partial repairs and things like that. A friend of mine owns a tree company. And a long time ago, in fact, I would call him more of a mentor early on in my business career. And this gentleman had told me that he had a customer who wanted him to cut down a tree and drop all the big limbs on this old shed. Okay, just knock down the shed, haul the shed out, cut it up. And he told him, and it would have been easy to do. He said, he could have just cut it down and dropped them all in the shed. The shed was practically falling apart. But he says, why he didn't do that for this guy, and he lost the sale because of this. He didn't do it because all people seen when they were driving past that house through town was his truck sitting there, him cutting down a tree, and it fell over on a shed. Okay, so now he's the talk of the town, and nobody really knows the real deal. It's also you got to be careful on what you do, because a neighbor comes out and looks at that car, you do a half repair for less cost, and all they see is that boy, they got took there. That guy just, they never hear the backstory. So that's something we always got to be careful with as business people and professionals.
That's right. Like you go out and do a customer for $60, which is, I get that for one ding at a dealership. I mean, that's, and when I have multiple cars, but you're going out there to do retail for $60. I don't care. It's going to, that customer that's going to be a hard customer to sell when they come back to you too. When they want to go and they got a gnarly one or a nasty one, come on, you did it for $60. There's no value to the customer of you. You know what I mean? You just blew that customer. If you sell quality and service, that's what they know they're paying for. Instead of going, we do dents for $35. We start at $69. That's fine and dandy, but don't try not to get caught in, I'm selling, I'm a Costco or a bargain trader, dent guy. That's not what you want to be known for.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. That's I have that opinion as well. So we always keep our minimum to 99, and that's for a dime size ding. And I found sometimes where I wanted to do something again, like you said, for like $50 or something like that, when a guy comes in something really little, but you stop yourself and say no, because this person's always going to come back and want that deal. He's not going to think his next dent, he's going to think it's worth $50, even though it's the size of a 50-cent piece or it's through a body line. And then when you raise it back up to your original price, where it should have been to begin with, and you say, oh, that's through a body line, it's $125. This guy flipped us. You did it for $50 last time.
Yeah. Well, they have no comprehension of what to compare to. They think 50. Every dent's going to be the same. Of course, that's the educational part. That's our obligation to educate the customer and put that on our website or video or whatever, to let people know that there is the difference. Now, I did a video for you. Actually, you were the first person I've done that video for. What is paintless dent repair? What is PDR? And to be honest with you, John, I need to put it for my own self, dude. I made probably about 15 of those videos, and everyone says they get a great response on that. How's that been for you, though? That what is PDR video?
I think it's absolutely been tremendous. I mean, I couldn't believe how many YouTube views mine specifically had gotten. Somehow it got carried away within the internet gods, took it clear up to the top, and I think we're sitting on, I'm guessing because it was like a year ago probably since I looked at the count, but back then it was up to like 50 or 60,000 views. I mean, if I was to guess today, it's probably in the hundreds.
Well, did it help your customers understand more of what the meaning of paintless dent repair was, like not using dry ice or suction cups or anything like that? Did it help out?
Absolutely. One of the first things that most of my customers, when they come in and they're sold, they've watched the videos. That's just part of the retail. And not only do some of them watch that video, but it leads them into the rest of the video library. I literally have been places. I went to this place, and I almost didn't stop. It was one of them ones where I got pulled out into kind of the ghetto in Cincinnati, and I just decided to stop. And it was a rough area. I'm looking around thinking, I don't know if I should be here, And this guy comes out, and he's got a Lil Wayne shirt on with gold teeth on the whole size of his shirt. So Lil Wayne's head here with big gold teeth. And he tells me that his old lady chased him out of the house and threw a soup can at him, missed him, went over his head, and hit the hood of his car. So I go out and start working with this guy, and we're down deep in the west side of Cincinnati, and I'm sitting there talking to him, and the guy's just, he's like, you have, and he mentioned one of my old employees. He goes, is he with you? And I'm like, well, how do you know about him? He's like, I watched your video. I'm like, really? Which one did you watch? He's like, actually, I sat down and watched all of them. So this guy sat down and watched like 70, 80 videos and learned everything there was to know about me. And the cool thing about that was, Mike, with you going back to videos, is that when you start creating them and your customer base starts getting into them, okay, picture it like this. They think of you as like a reality star. You know what I'm saying? And not in the way that they think you're a star, but in the way that they already feel that they know you when you walk through their door.
Right. Right.
So just like all of us, whoever watches some reality shows or TV, you start to feel like you're connected with the person on there because you've watched so much of them, or you've seen them, or you begin to know their personality, you feel. Well, people get that same connection when they watch service people in their videos. So customers are more and more getting interested, and they're seeing stuff like that, and it's dragging them into the rest of my library. And now I'm finding more and more that people are connected before we even meet.
Well, that's the thing. That's the power of video. I mean, I got into doing videos probably in 2005, actually. That's another long story, but the power of videos and what the techs need to do is focus on, everyone's got a video camera now built in your camera phone,
That's right.
Of course, there are some bad videos that guys don't know how to hold the video and keep it steady and yada yada. But it's a start. You guys got to get out there and there you go.
The skinny video.
The skinny video, yeah. That's the most biggest, I'd say, pet peeve of me when I see people doing video like this.
For everybody, and your camera goes like this, okay?
Yeah.
Guess video goes
when you go to edit, that's what you got, skinny video. Now you get these two big blocks right here of nothing, Yeah. Anyhow, speaking of that, I actually edited a video for gosh dang it, I just went blank here. The crazy guy with the beard, Wade.
Keith?
No, Wade.
Oh, Wade.
Wade.
Yeah, right.
He did his video like that, but you know what?
Yeah.
I ended up making it better, and doing something for it, but it came out pretty cool. But you know what? In the long run, it really doesn't matter how you shoot the video. It's the content that counts.
Right.
I think people do need to stress more putting videos out there and getting to know you, the person. There's only one drawback about that is if you grow, and you have other guys working underneath you, and you send that tech out there.
Yeah.
You're not Mike Toledo. I was waiting for Mike Toledo.
Right.
No, Mike Toledo, he's up there, he's doing his thing. No. I pay. I want to pay for Mike Toledo.
That's right.
So name branding is good, but it's got its consequences. But I think people can live with that. I think it's very good to don't hide behind your company. Put your face on your company. Let people know who you are. Get out there and promote yourself. You're just as important as the name of your company. So
and put your guys out there. You start hiring guys, start putting them out there.
That's another thing is start making them just as popular too. And you're right, put their name on there and putting their work out there and showing people that your guys are just as capable as you are, and getting them some interviews too. So that's important there. So let me go into. I do a lot of retail, a lot of mobile retail.
Yeah.
John, I got a friend. You got, Vince.
Yeah.
Vince just opened up a retail place. Seems like he's excited about it. And one thing I did notice when I'm at the shop training, okay, and I got customers coming to the shop and doing dents, want to do dents.
Right.
I find there's a big difference that customers, when I'm mobile, they want to haggle. When they come to the shop, it's a done deal. If I say $450, it's $450. Very rarely they'll ask me to lower my cost. How's that with you? I mean, do you find that true or not?
Not so much. I mean, we find a lot of hagglers that come through our shop, and we've had some dent companies in our shop before that kind of underestimated, how much you can get per repair. These dent companies that were in there previously are responsible for bringing us a lot of business, but some of their customers do come back, and sometimes they think it's outrageous for a $99 dent. We do service mobile as well, and usually there's no haggling done when we're there because we give a solid price, and we don't get a lot of haggling on the mobile route.
Yeah.
But in the shop, we do tend to get some people that, thankfully, there's so many people that walk through our doors on a daily basis that we can really have like a 50% closing and still just keep that place pumping all the time.
Well, I mean, like I went to Daniel Grom's shop too, which I learned a lot from his shop. When you walk in, you look to the
sweet shop.
Yeah, when you look to the left, he's got his price list right there. Like right on the wall. And he told me, he had some lot of cool things about his estimating. He would have he would write the estimate, and he'd have what the percentage he thinks it's going to come out, and then when it's done, he writes down what the percentage it really came out to. You know what I mean? No, I mean who can measure how a dent comes out, but at least it gives the customer a little bit of measurement about what it is. And so, I mean, I think that was one good system about it. But going back to the shop thing, now what's the biggest, I mean, besides obviously customers, you still get haggles. I mean, sure, everyone still does, but the main thing is that, I mean, you can take your time in a shop too, and obviously you're like in the hail central area too. And so when it hails, you get benefits from that. Explain, what do you think about what's the benefit of hail when you have a shop?
Well, basically, what I've told quite a few folks, and what I believe is the greatest thing about having a shop in a hail-prone area is that I have people that come directly to me. They're beginning to become more and more educated on where they should take their car for a hail damage repair, and because of this lengthy education that we've developed with our clientele base, we now have a place where we're supplementing everything that comes through our doors. So not only are we getting the repairs and people coming in, but we're also doing our supplements in-house. Now, what this basically does, as many of you know, it cuts out a body shop percentage, basically legitimizes the process. Insurance companies, I mean, I'm sure you could get one to come out to your garage and do a supplement in a residential area, but if you're where I live, it just wouldn't fly, having a shop just legitimizes the whole process. We got people that come to us directly because they know we are just a paintless dent removal shop. And like I said, the big thing about it is that supplementing insurance claims, because I'll say this, Mike, I mean, we're here to make money, and I make more money pushing paper than I do pushing dents. And I never thought it would be that way because like many people, I a long time ago, before I knew a lot about the hail damage industries, or the industry itself, I used to just come out and do it for whatever the insurance company wrote it for. And I was thinking, golly gee, $2,000 and I can fix it in a day, or something like that. Well, you know what?
I call that the Burger King method. Like the new guys come in, like I was flipping burgers for $10 an hour. I'm making $50 an hour now.
Right, right. And see, that's why me and you came together, and I told you about this problem, this issue, and I could personally relate to it. And that's why we're developing this hail damage estimating process that we want people to go through and look at it, so when they're done with it, they know how to do it right. I mean, people are leaving so much money on the table. It's phenomenal.
Well, you get those hungry techs too, and then that's the name of the game of the insurance companies. They're intending to undercut that. Like they're hoping that guy will just walk away. With that $2,000. You know what I mean? Oh, great!
Absolutely.
I got $2,000. Let's see if this dent guy can do it for $500. I mean,
yeah.
And then there are guys that will do it too. So not good, but will.
And now that you said that, Mike, about how they ultimately they hope the customer walks away with the money, that's their ultimate goal. They cut the customer check. But here's where they started having problems. They're not giving the customer enough money anymore to even make it come close to worth their while to walk away with it, which works out in our benefit, because the only way they can actually get the amount of money to have to compensate for it is to bring it into a repair shop. And once they bring it into the shop, it's done deal.
Hold on. A PDR repair shop, right?
A PD. Well, they can bring it into a body shop, and they can have the technicians write the estimate up. Now, the body shop is usually going to write the estimate low as well. and we go over that. But a lot of times they have the PDR company come in, and if the PDR company is a little bit intelligent when it comes to hail repair and how to write the proper estimates, then they're going to go ahead and they're going to bump that price up, and they're even going to supplement it again.
Well, yeah, let me rephrase that. Having it properly estimated by a PDR technician with a PDR estimating system or a PDR platform, estimating platform. That's so they can get all the nooks and crannies and belt moldings and R&I and all that crap, right?
Yeah. Usually the body shops will get all that because they know about the belt moldings and the R&I and all that stuff because that's part of their everyday process. Where they lose out, they just never figure in the right for oversized dents. Their lighting up above just hovers straight down on the dent, only showing the circumference from around. They don't have a PDR light to lay it tight to the panel so they can actually see the projection of the dent and see that most dents that we look at outside that look like quarter size, you bring them in, put your light at a tight reflective angle, take a little auto writer, mark one end of it and mark the other end of it, lay a 50-cent piece in the middle of it. I guarantee you 90% of the time it's an oversized dent.
You didn't like a couple weeks back, didn't you just show like
Yes.
like on your Facebook page or the Dent Trainer, like this is what I circled outside, what I saw outside. This is what I circled like on a normal lighting, and then you took it in and put it under our PDR light, and this is what you saw under our PDR light.
Yeah, I actually have footage of dents scrolling with overhead lighting going over top of them that you cannot see in the overhead lighting, and then going straight into the tight reflective angle with the PDR light.
We're going to show that
Boom.
as we're speaking right now, so people can take a look at what we're talking about. But keep going, John.
Yep. So that's part of our estimating procedure. We just want to show people how to do it and write them right. The reason why a lot of money's left on the table is they're not asking for the oversized dents. That's a big ticket item for hail damage. That's how you get your estimate up there. And a lot of times, yeah, you're going to have to explain. If an insurance adjuster comes in, they look at it straight on, they look at it in the wrong angle, then yeah, hey, that's not oversized. You say, no, wait a second. You put down your light and you teach them. You say, you see how this one goes way over here? See, you tell them, I can't just fix the middle of that, okay? Be like, I've got to fix the whole dent as far as it projects out.
Yeah.
So this dent reaches from here to here, and you put a little marker on it, then you drop your 50-cent piece in the middle, and you see how, I don't care if it's slightly over, because you guys make the rules, I'm following by the rules, and, if it's slightly over the size of a 50-cent piece, then it's an oversized dent.
Yeah, yep. And what about the rails and stuff like that? I hear a lot of mixed stuff on Facebook. Some guys are not getting paid as much for the rails, which are one of the hardest areas to do because you can't tool it usually. You have to glue pull it.
That's going to happen more often when you're working in a DRP body shop, meaning that you're working for a body shop that's connected with a direct insurance companies. But if you're in my shop and I don't have any direct connections with insurance companies, I directly connect with the customer. When that thing comes in there, if I say the rail is going to be $700, it's going to be $700. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'll go to the point to this. Here, if you really want to get one going, Mike, here's what you do. Okay, I had this one guy. He came out and it was a Volkswagen. I think they're called Touaregs, whatever that Volkswagen SUV is. And this thing was hammered. Okay, so he gave us all this grief on the doors. He says, I gave you what you did on, what you wrote on the roof. I gave you what you wanted on the hood. But these doors, I'm not paying $400. And I mean, they had nice, nasty, gnarled shots on them. I looked at him and said, you know what? I said, okay, give me your estimate. So he leaves. I turn around and tell my guys, I say, fix the whole car, skip the doors. So he leaves. It isn't 10 minutes later. These guys are running around, fix it and all that stuff. I go ahead and fax his office another supplement for the doors. So he has to drag his butt back out there, shows up in my facility, and here's the doors waiting for him. I say, now do you want to pay the money for them? Because we fixed everything on the roof. I'll tell you what, I'll just take the check for the roof and the hood and all that stuff. And you can have the doors because I'm not doing them for what you paid. You want to go tell the customer that you're going to take this car and take it out of my shop to have somebody else fix the doors, then let's do it.
Yeah. And what they end up saying?
He got his pen ready and wrote that check up, and in fact he apologized to me and said he was in a bad mood because he was at some other body shop and he gave this line of whatever they blah blah blah, somebody did this, somebody did that.
Yep. Well, that's the thing is it is about the education. It all comes down to educating. That's basically what this topic is about. Educate your customers, educate the estimator. Educate anybody in the process of help them understand why you gotta get what you gotta get. I mean, and the involvement of it, and obviously, if the more it makes sense, the easier it's going to be for you to make your money.
Absolutely, absolutely, Mike, and that's why ultimately, at the end of the day, that's what we're doing, and that's why we're here. And I can't wait to see some of the stuff, just and not just talking about hail damage, the way you estimate door dings. I mean, I think we're going to plan on having a curriculum teaching people how to write proper just estimates on door dings.
Well, that's another thing too. Is I think a lot of guys are afraid to talk to the customers, and actually explain why. And I think it has a lot to do with being confident too. You can't.
Right. That's right.
If you're going to pull numbers out of your butt, which that's what I call, you have a set.
We're all guilty a little bit.
Yeah, we all have set prices in our head, what we think each dent's worth.
That's right.
But you can't sit there and be like you have a dent on the Prius and a gnarly dent on a Prius. Okay.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to take me about an hour and a half. Okay. My personal thing is I want to make between $100 to $150 an hour. I mean, no questions asked. That's what I want. I'll be happy if I make $150 an hour, sometimes more. Very least $100. Okay, but I told that customer $275. $275. Why? And now that comes back to the part where your quality and stuff like that. But as I explained to him very confidently and why I'm going to do it and how I'm going to take care of the dent and why this part's this part, and I kind of break down the dent with them,
Right.
But they understand. But if you are caught off guard, you're not ready to explain why you want that much money for it, you're not going to get it. You are not going to get it. So
right.
Either have some kind of price chart ready for yourself, for that, or you be super confident and hold yourself up and really sell the quality and service than the cost. And again, that's what gets people in trouble is they'll sell cost first and then backpedal into the quality when they should have went the other way around. So.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, there's just so many, as you stated there, there's so many reasons why, and a lot of people stated in just this contest that we came on here originally, there were so many reasons. It's like the second biggest investment people's life, and they want to hire the cheapest person to actually do it. Would you really, if you were to build a deck on the back of your house, would you go onto Craigslist and find the cheapest guy with the little typed up ad, like no images even or something like that, and go with them? I know that I wouldn't.
No, and I you know what I do to customers too? I say this works good too. You guys are more than welcome to use anything you want, okay? But the main thing is what I say, you know what, sir, ma'am, to be honest with you, we're like plastic surgeons.
Right.
And the cars are like skin. The panels are like skin. And when you go get a plastic surgery, if you're going to go be a plastic surgeon and you want to get your nose worked on, you're not looking around who's the cheapest. You're actually looking around who's the best. And that's how we are. And we are taking sharp instruments to your panel. And if it's not done right, you're going to have some bad scar tissue, or even worse, you're going to have to get it repainted. Yeah.
It's so funny that you mentioned it that way.
Yeah. And people are like, oh, I didn't think about it that way. And that's another way you can explain to customers. It's really, if you got to explain things that make sense to the customer.
Sure.
If it doesn't make sense, they don't know why. You know why you want to charge it, but they don't know why.
That's right.
You got to be, logistic, and you got to be making sense. It's got to make sense to the customer, more importantly, about your quality, about your service. And that's about service and quality. That's more about quality right there and experience than it is cost. Now you took them out of the cost thing. I'm willing to pay anything as long as you're good. So that's now, I've got my BMW. I get a lot of customers that go, I got a 5 Series BMW right here. And I just want to let you know this is a high-end car. And
she's my baby.
Yeah, she's my baby. And I just want to tell you something. Have you ever worked on these cars before? I said, you know what? Honestly, I haven't worked hardly on any of these cars, but I work on a lot of Bentleys and Ferraris. So I think you're in pretty good hands.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, here's the keys. Let me know when you're done. So,
hey, it's funny that you said that, Mike. I had a guy, I was working on his Audi just the other day. He walks up to me and he says to me, he goes, I'm halfway in the middle of this repair. Okay, I'm just cranking away on it, And he's in my shop. He walks out of the office, or my lobby / office, and he says to me, how long have you been doing this? And I looked up at him and I said, about a week or two.
What do they say? What was his expression?
He got it immediately. I mean,
Yeah.
he started laughing right off the bat. And, and I said, actually, joking again with him, I said, this is my first job,
Well, I
I
don't
mean,
know
I'm
what to
already
do.
halfway through his car.
What do you think I
It's
should
like,
do? Push or knock down? Yeah, my stepfather, when we were first starting doing dents, we had this big giant light with lines on it, it was like iron rod, light, big giant light, and I mean, I wish I still had it. It was like prehistoric, but anyhow, we had this light hooked up to it, and people were like, "What is that, man? Is that like a heater, or is that like a solar panel?" And my stepdad would be so funny. He'd be like, "Yeah." Don't touch it, man. It's gonna be real. If you touch it, it's done. And like guys, like, oh man, no, I ain't gonna touch it, man. Don't worry. And my stepdad would keep a freaking straight face, and I would be busted in the middle of it. I'm like,
yeah.
anyhow. But I got some good stories about my stepdad down the line when we first did it. But I'm not. Again, that's another topic. But anyhow, okay. Let's get to the next thing here. The most important thing, John. Our launch date, dude. When are we gonna launch Dent Trainer?
Ah, man, we talked a lot about it, and as you know, Mike and myself, our most important thing is to have a legit product. Okay, it is going to be the very last day of spring, so June 20th.
Yeah, wouldn't you know it? All right, June 20th. And we really want to make sure it is actually done right. You want the user experience to really be
That's right.
come in there and get off the bat and learn some stuff and think things are interesting. And we have some big plans for everybody. I mean, we're not talking it's not gonna just be me and John Hiley doing it.
Right.
Not you and me. We want to invite people, as many people who want to participate and chime in, and we're not just taking their information and running with it. We're actually helping that person too as well, and that trainer.
Absolutely.
We're working with them on different things right now. We're not going to announce it here, but we are working with different guys, and we're going to be having a good future for those industry leaders, shall we say.
Totally. And here's the thing people got to understand. Me and Mike, we have pretty much like what we originally wanted to create. It's there. But what happens is when you get involved in a project like this, ideas just continuously spur up. And we're constantly saying, wow, we need to do this. Whoa, we need to add that. And that's just what happens, and now it went into something that was going to be something but just videos into full-blown PDF files and, audio files coming down the road. And, there's just so much happening in there. And instead of just doing different tutorials, I mean, we're adding in estimating. And, people have seen what we're doing. And it's just a big project.
Well, and then we haven't even shown everybody what we're doing either. I mean, there's some cool. I mean, it's just little things that'll help, like what we just mentioned, like advice on how to set, take care of a customer who's wants the price thing, like why you're expensive, or it's too much, or hey, throw the ball in the other court. That's just one little thing. We're going to go into detail with that. We're going to have text messaging showing like different ways you can counter that. You can be safe on your estimates. When you send an estimate, you can put a disclosure on your text messages or your emails, so you're never caught when you go out there and you go, wow, this looks totally different than the photo. You feel confident changing your estimate. Say,
absolutely.
Listen, I understand. Let me close the blinds. I didn't know I got stripes on me. Hold on a second.
I got a phone ringing in the background as well.
Go ahead, take that. We can edit.
Oh no! It's after my business hours, man. I don't be taking phone calls in after hours.
Well, where was I on that? Okay. As far as like just little knickknack stuff that's going to help the the viewers and the subscribers and all the texts are just, they want to just those little things that help them get through the day, the PDR day, the route guys,
absolutely that,
the hail guys. Of course, me personally, I don't know as much hail as you do, or the industry leader guys do, or Jordan Fisher wants to help out too now, and that's why we want specialists and everything to give their little 2 cents on things, and I think that's going to be a huge benefit to people once they check it out.
Well, and not to mention, I mean, I don't want you to discount yourself. We have the marketing king of the not actually the world, but the universe. You, Mr. Mike Toledo,
Nah,
right
nah,
there.
no. I learned.
And that's I learned everything I know from you. And I mean that there's so much to be brought to the table. I mean, we never want to estimate the people that have not been able to communicate with us in a way that we could help them out as much as we could. And this is going to be the medium to where they're really going to get to know, some of the things, some of the secrets that make us run, successful businesses, and what makes Mike Toledo the marketing king. I mean, what makes me, run through 400 hail damage cars in a year, retail. I mean, them are some of the things that I think this is going to be a great medium. People are going to get to know that side of us that otherwise we wouldn't have time to, to do all the time because of how busy,
And it's not the reason why I think, people think that, Mike Toledo's this. It's not anything I'm doing anything special, guys. It's the passion,
That's it.
If you're passionate about what you want to do, there's no stopping you. I mean, there's John, you've seen, there's plenty of good guys on there, just unbelievable techs. Matter of fact, I got another guy we're going to interview next week, or actually this Saturday. I don't know if it's going to be up this Saturday, but Paul Cordon.
Okay.
Super good tech, man. Really good tech. Another like Sal guy, another one right there. But he's got some good takes on what he thinks the industry is about, and I think people are willing to hear him,
Absolutely.
And he's passionate. He's a passionate guy. That's what
Absolutely.
that's the kind of guys we want to talk to and share and get him out there in the PDR world. That's what Dent Trainer is about, and that's what
Absolutely.
the PDR world's about. Sharing the passion.
And that's the thing, Mike. If we look back and see where we've really learned in the industry, it's always been by working with somebody else or talking about their techniques or understanding, Sal with the flat bars and that's brought so much to me in just the last month since I've had one. I mean, I legitimately, there was a dent that I did just on Monday, Mike, that I don't think I could have done it in the way if I didn't have that dent dial, and I've only had the dent dial for like a month. I mean, literally, I looked at it like, man, that thing's a lifesaver.
Yeah.
And that, just like you said, that's what Dent Trainer is about. If we all look back into our past, where did we really learn all these little tricks and techniques? I mean, I can learn something from the R&I guy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just a dent technician. I mean, from the guy dropping the headliners, he shows you something useful. You take it, you've got that forever. And that's truly what it's about. Just like you said, learning from each other.
That's what we want to do. We want to find the talent out there. We want to find guys who are actually wanting to make the industry better and better. Sal's very passionate about his thing. There's another guy in Brazil named Sergio. He don't speak much English. I've been putting him on the Facebook page and the Dent Trainer page.
Yeah.
Super talented guy, man. I mean, these guys are like a little Kaz guys, and people don't know who Kaz is. We'll introduce that guy too sooner or later. We'll have to speak to his son because Kaz doesn't speak very much English, but there's a lot of cool things ahead. That
Jordan Fisher, being a great business expert, we're definitely going to have him on. That dude is a phenomenal thinker. He's an outstanding businessman.
Yeah.
And he's going to be a part of Dent Trainer.
Cheers, Mike.
There's just, and a first class individual.
Yes.
I mean, you just couldn't ask for a better dude to associate yourself with. And,
look, it's, what, the industry is going to get better only if we want it to get better and work together. It's not, we're all working towards that goal. Everyone has their little things going on. You got NAPDRT, you got PDR Nation. You got actually Keith and Shane doing PDR College. Excellent podcast. Excellent podcast. And if you guys haven't heard of them, PDR College, Keith and Shane Jacks, check it out. Check it out, guys. I think you guys are going to like it. But me and John are going to try to do a little bit of this here and there, introduce new things and talk about things. And I'll still do my interviews, and maybe we can get John in here, you to start coming in here and doing the interviews with me too as well on these guys. So,
hey, I'm hooked up now. I want to show everybody a little picture of this.
Oh, you're legit now. Look at that.
Look at that. That is an anchor setup, man. I mean, we're ready to roll. So
I don't mean to be disgusting, but it looks like a anyways, but
yeah. but it sings like an angel.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Well, listen, let's wrap it up. We don't want to take too much time of
Yep.
everyone's thing. I hope you guys, benefited and liked this interview thing and our announcement and a little bit of sound advice, and we'll keep it going. So thanks,
You know what I
John.
got? You know what I got to say though, Mike. Right at the end, right?
What?
Stay tuned and see what we come up with next
Yeah,
time.
there you go. Hey, and you know what I say to all my students, and I even could probably relate to the last one here, is what I tell my students too. You ain't leaving until you get freaking paid. Okay, so stay on that dent. Don't get